There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more. Never have our community heroes been more worthy of recognition than today, and Wendy's is here to show thanks for all they do with a free breakfast for a year giveaway. Starting Monday, November 15th through December 9th, we want you to nominate the individuals you feel have gone above and beyond. Just go to yourtotalmedia.com/communityheroes and give us a line or two about why someone you know deserves free Wendy's breakfast for a year as part of Wendy's Thank You Thursdays campaign throughout this holiday season. That's right, our community heroes have the opportunity to win free breakfast for a year from Wendy's, which includes a delicious breakfast combo. We'll select a community hero every week on Thursday, and you'll hear their inspiring stories on the air. You can nominate anyone who's made an impact in our community. Wendy's wants to reward our dedicated and hardworking individuals because these heroes have kept our communities together and running. Make your nomination today at yourtotalmedia.com/communityheroes, and Wendy's will be providing free breakfast for a year to those deserving individuals. Ho, ho, ho! What's everyone want for Christmas this year?
All Christmas music all day!
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Get that tissue out of here.
Good grief. It took over the whole desk. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here with
Me.
James Hamilton. Woo!
The bench warmer.
And the crowd goes wild. The
Yeah.
bench warmer.
Yep.
Whatever.
No one else was willing to do it.
Likes us.
No one else was willing to come in.
You know, James and I have kind of gotten a complex in this little studio here because we're kind of like, we wonder if we just disappear, if anyone would even notice, because we're kind of here by ourselves.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind
What
of
do you
like
think?
I kind of like that the idea of being kind of by yourself.
Do you think if we just weren't here, anyone would notice?
Yeah, I think eventually.
Okay.
I think eventually Rick Sims and James Wolfe and some of our other,
the other
loyal listeners would get angry and
That's true.
demand that we return.
That's true. That's true. They'd notice before
Yeah.
the office.
Probably.
Anywho, no. Thank you for tuning in today. And, a couple of days till Christmas.
3 days until Christmas. Wow. Courtney told me that she braved Chillicothe yesterday, went to some of the stores. She said it
Honey.
wasn't that bad. I didn't believe her.
No, because I was in Chillicothe on Monday
Yeah.
in the downtown part and attempted to head down Bridge Street.
Yeah. Wasn't happening.
Oh, no. Like, mm-mm. And I thought, not even worth it. No,
Yeah.
not gonna. Because
Not-
typically
yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna run in this store and whatever. And I was like, highway.
Yep.
No. But yeah, it is. Chillicothe is quite the. It gets pretty hectic.
Sure
there
does.
on Bridge Street. So, and I don't know what they could do about it because can't make it wider. And
I don't
they
know.
they redid the ramp things, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a mess.
I don't know.
Just a big old mess.
Well, I don't know. When I lived in Athens, the traffic on State Street was really a
Equal.
problem. Yeah, it was really bad. And they improved it quite a bit when they added like an extra lane to the exit ramps
Mm-hmm.
and some things like that. But yeah, it's still bad.
But
But the worst thing about State Street in Athens was just like, I don't know anything about paving roads, but they must not have like done the underlayer the way they were supposed to or whatever. Cause it just every winter, potholes everywhere.
oh.
So on top of the traffic, you're also like switching lanes
Running the
constantly,
gauntlet trying to get through.
to avoid all the potholes.
Oh, man.
And then when they did that big renovation, I think they mostly fixed that. But also, I moved away like about that same time.
Of course.
So didn't experience it as much after that. Yeah.
I'll tell you, in Athens, the people that I would be most angry would be the folks up in the plains, because they
Closing that exit.
They closed that exit there to like the is it the Messenger?
Johnson Road, where the Athens Messenger
Holy
building is.
moly! And
Yeah.
you can't either exit or enter the highway now from that side of the road.
Oh, you can't turn right out of there?
No.
Oh, I thought you could turn right onto the
No.
highway.
And it's a mess. So you have
Yeah.
to go all the way back through the plains and down to the highway or whatever that road is.
Yeah,
that
the
ends up.
old whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. If you're like Eclipse Company store or something like that, which is a restaurant
Yeah.
over there, I would be furious.
I mean, that
feel
was
so
a
bad
dangerous
for them.
intersection, but like, what are you going to do? Put a traffic light there?
Right. Like, but
And
I
that
don't
would've
know that
just made it
closing
worse.
it was the was the
Well,
answer.
I guess the only option would have been to build an overpass,
Yeah.
and then that's like millions and millions of dollars.
Hey, we built one at
Well,
McCarty
yeah,
Lane and
right,
at
but-
Richmonddale.
Right.
For-
Yeah. I
The
mean,
overpass to nowhere.
yeah. And a lot of people don't like it being there.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
weird,
but that's
I don't know.
the only other thing I could think of that they could do.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a dangerous intersection, but it seems to me like there would have been an alternative other than just,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they,
especially for the businesses
yeah.
down that end.
I mean, I think that's something that they struggled with for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and are finally just like, we've got to do something, and we can't afford to do anything else, so we're just gonna
just close her
just
up.
close it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of a wild thing. But anyway, so that's your traffic report for the
Yeah.
day.
Oh man, I wish we had a traffic helicopter. We'd be like, here's Pete Wilson in the traffic copter.
So my friend, so Angie
Yeah.
Skinner,
Did she work on a traffic copter?
So yeah, so this is a good story, and I
Okay.
think we mentioned it when she was on
here.
the show.
Yeah.
Angie Edwards, I went to high school with her and then college with her. She was my big in the sorority and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's how I got my internship at WNCI
Yeah.
and I interned with the Morning Zoo, which was a total hoot, by the way, and so much fun. But yeah, she was the traffic reporter.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, like, she graduated from college, and that was her job. She
Yeah.
went out in the helicopter several times a day and did the traffic report
Man.
for
Man,
WNCI.
several times a day.
Yeah.
That would I don't know, how fast would the novelty of doing that wear off if you had to do it 2 or 3 times a day?
I don't know. I mean, I think that would get a little bit old.
Or you'd get like jaded, and I don't know. That'd be that'd be really cool, but I don't think I'd want to do
That's
3
Look at
times
that
a day.
wreck. That one's awesome.
Oh, follow that white Bronco.
All of that. But
Yeah.
so that actually was a thing
Yeah.
back then. And that is how I got my internship. So I thank her all the time for that, because that was a really cool experience getting to hang out with, I mean, you have to think that the Morning Zoo back then was probably hands down the most listened to morning show in Columbus and the surrounding area. So it was a blast. And they gave everybody, all the interns, nicknames.
Oh yeah.
So
do we need a drum roll for this nickname?
Oh, it was horrible. So everyone had like the cute nicknames. Like there was one guy that looked like Conan O'Brien, so his name was Conan. And then there was this one girl, and she was super cute and tiny, so they named her Feifel, like Feifel the mouse, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I wonder what my nickname is going to be.
Yeah.
And so we get there, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're from Jackson, like Angie. You're from like down in the sticks. And they're like, oh, we're going to name her Daisy or something, and I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
They named me Goober. It's not that funny. I'm like, really? You're going to name me Goober. And they were like, yeah, Goober. That's it.
Nailed it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd go out in public and people would be like, Goober. Yeah. Like,
But this was just on the radio, right? This
Yeah,
wasn't
it
on
was.
television, so
No, it was
yeah.
just on the radio, but you had to make appearances and
Right.
stuff, so everyone knew who you were.
Okay.
So yeah, I got that name.
That's hilarious.
But anyway,
Goober.
yep.
Main Street TV with Goober
With
and
Goober.
Jimmy.
And then if I got real lucky, they would be kidding with me and call me Booger on top of that
no.
because Goober and Booger are just obviously you can.
Yeah, I mean it's just right there.
Yeah, it's so close. So, yeah.
All right, comment your ideas for bad radio nicknames for
Yes.
Jen and myself.
Yeah, let us know what. No, maybe not.
Yeah. No, let's hear it. Let's
Come
see 'em.
on.
Yep.
Bring it on.
Given to us.
We need an intern so we can give them a horrible name.
We do. We've been too nice to the interns.
I
we've
know.
had
We
the
just
last
called them
couple
their
summers.
names.
Yeah.
What the heck are we thinking?
We treated them with
With respect.
respect and dignity.
What were we doing? Anyone want to intern for this morning
Yep.
show? Let us know. We will give you quite a creative nickname. We
Yep.
promise.
Yep.
So,
Like in Revenge of the Nerds, the guy that was Booger.
Booger,
They were
yeah.
like, why do they call him that? Why do they call him
that
Booger?
movie. JV and I were talking the other day about things that even 10 years ago that were said in movies and shows and whatever, that if you would say it today,
Yeah.
the world would come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
It is just so
Yeah.
amazing to me how politically correct we've
Yeah.
become.
Oh man, I watched something yesterday
we
or the day
watching that?
before, and it was something that like I hadn't seen in years and years and years. I was like, wow, I can't believe how cringy this is.
The Golden
Like it's
Girls.
not even that old.
The Golden Girls is
Yeah.
so inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like and I watch it constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know how they don't get taken down the road other than they're four cute old ladies
Yeah.
that like everyone just goes, oh, and it's the
Yeah.
Golden Girls and whatever. But they say some horrible things.
Yeah. Show's funny, man.
It is funny.
Did you know there was like a Golden Girls spinoff show like after the original show ended? And there's like a spinoff where they're like running a hotel or something like that.
No.
Yeah. So like the original show was on like ABC or whatever. And like their contract ran out and they tried to renew it or whatever and it didn't work out and it ended. And then when the contract ended, they tore down all the sets and everything.
Yeah.
And then like another network, like NBC or whoever came in, they're like, well, we'll pay the money to like keep it going or whatever. But they'd already destroyed all the sets and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're just like, all right, well, we're going to have to use other sets. Like, what do we have? And they're like, well, we have this hotel. And they're like, okay, the Golden Girls are now managing a hotel.
No.
Yeah, so this is I can't remember what it was called. Comment if you know the name of
Yeah,
the
if
show.
you know what it is,
But
let
yeah,
us
this
know.
is Golden Girls spin-off show that only lasted like a season or whatever where they have a hotel. And I think it's only 3 of them. I think one of the 4 like didn't come back.
because B. Arthur got married in the final
Yeah.
episode. And,
Yeah, so it may have been her that didn't return.
well, I think she was always the one that was like behind the scenes in contract negotiations and stuff. I think by all accounts she was rough to work with
I don't know.
because she I think she was the one that always kind of was like,
The Golden Palace is what it was called.
nuh-uh.
Yeah. So it ran from
No.
92 to 93. So it's without B. Arthur.
Yeah.
She is in 2 episodes. But yeah, it originally aired on CBS.
How do we find episodes of it?
Well, that's a good question. Can you watch it
Can you
anywhere?
watch it?
Let's see.
The Golden Why do I not know this?
I don't know.
How do you know this and I don't know this?
It's on Hulu, apparently. Oh, no, that's the original series. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I know that, honestly.
Did you all know that? I had no idea. How are we going to... I have to watch this. It must not have been very good or they wouldn't have...
Well, I mean, it's got a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, the interesting thing is, who knew when they did the Golden Girls that it would become the cult, classic that it... people of all ages watch the Golden Girls.
Yeah. Well,
Why?
TV in general like the concept of syndication, like reruns, like wasn't really baked into like the original concept of television.
Sure.
So like they do a show and then like that was it. They never thought anybody would see it again. And then like, I guess starting in the 70s and then it really took off like in the 80s, reruns and stuff's just on all the time.
Do you think though, because it's just kind of like, I don't want to say the Golden Girls is timeless because that's not really necessarily the word, but I think it's so relatable.
Yeah.
No matter what generation you're from.
Well, and then
the things that they do and the jokes. And
I also think
funny
the
stories.
fact that like they were older in the show makes the fact that the show now looks old. Like, well, yeah, they're old. It should look old.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
like it's more believable.
Right. Like it doesn't feel dated in the same way that like say Saved by the Bell does.
Right.
Because like it's so, Saved by the Bell is very of its time, but yeah.
Sure. But then you think about Friends. I mean,
right.
My goodness.
But I think Friends seems dated now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that, so why is it still so popular? Just because it was such a good show. But again, I think it's just so relatable. Yeah. Like no matter what era you're in. That
I don't know. I think Friends is a very Gen X thing and millennials don't like Friends.
Oh, really?
I mean, I can't speak for my entire generation, but I think largely like Friends feels like, I don't know, fake and less sincere than shows that kind of came after it.
Maybe.
Because like, they live in New York and they've got like these big apartments and like they've got like good paying careers and things like that. And like, that's just not the reality that a lot of millennials have experienced. And I think
so they're taking it literally.
Yeah. And I think that show comes off as insincere to a lot of people.
Gotcha. Well, it must be sincere to somebody because it's on 24/7.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess
no
that's.
Well, I guess if you're up in the middle of the night and you like Friends, you're in good shape.
But I guess that's the other thing. Like, no millennials are watching cable in the middle of the night.
That's true.
Right? Like, we're watching, Disney Plus and Netflix and all that stuff.
True.
We're just watching The Office all the time. That's what millennials do. We just watch The Office nonstop.
So The Office is your Friends.
Yeah, I guess so. People just love The Office. People love The Office more now than they loved The Office when The Office was on.
Well, and I think that's kind of that way with Friends too. Like I think that I never watched Friends when it was it was first on.
Yeah, I was like a junior or senior in high school when the last season of Friends came out, and it was like the thing for a minute. Like everybody was talking about Friends. And then when I did my study abroad thing in Wales, like 2 years later, like they must have just been getting it because it was like the thing then too.
You're like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, like this is back.
God.
Yeah.
There were shows like Dawson's Creek and some of those that are just like cringeworthy now thinking back about it. But
a lot of that stuff was.
You have a teenage boy and girl sneaking into each other's rooms at night, crawling through windows, and nobody thinks that's weird.
Well,
come on.
Well, us millennials, we were all raised on Carissa Explains It All.
I love Carissa Explains It All.
A boy crawling in her window was kind of like the plot of every episode.
Yeah, that's true.
And nobody thought that was weird.
But again, that was just like a tongue-in-cheek show.
Right,
like,
it was very...
I think Dawson's Creek was more serious and like, I don't know, it was a little creepy. But anyways.
I don't know. I never watched Dawson's Creek.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little too young for it.
Yeah. 90210. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about, I mean, just my generation, scandalous soap opera, awesome show. 90210 was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Melrose Place right after it, which was even way spicier.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, I never watched either of those shows, but I did watch Entourage, and they made fun of Melrose Place a lot.
Entourage was a fantastic show. I forgot about that one.
Did you ever watch the movie?
Yes.
So bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yep. That was a good one too. Just a good premise for a show. Yeah. Famous guy and his entourage.
Rich white guy has everything go his way.
Pretty much. Pretty rich white guy and pretty everybody else, girls and whatever. Yep. All right. So what the heck's going on? And I know you had maybe some news stuff.
Yeah.
Or...
Well, I got a couple things here. Todd Compson, Telegram sports editor, sent me a couple things. Last night, Minford defeated the Jackson Ironmen 58-53. Super close game.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Jackson, they are 500 on the season at 3-3, and Minford is 6-2. Trying to see who this is in the photo. He sent me about 3 paragraphs.
I can't see that far.
More than we need. Yeah. So Jackson's 3-3 in the season. They play Oak Hill tomorrow night.
Okay.
First time in like 10 years Oak Hill and Jackson varsity basketball has played.
I thought that was cool. Pete was mentioning that yesterday. Like getting back to the county, like kind of just why not?
Yeah.
Like that's just a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it probably just got to a point where it just wasn't competitive for a few years and they stopped doing it for that reason, I guess. But I mean, then Oak Hill had that string of really strong teams where they probably would have been, competitive with a little bigger schools. And I'm sure that they were, but just for whatever reason, Jackson wasn't one of them.
Just got out of the habit.
Yeah.
No, I think that's cool. Getting some of those county rivalry games
back together.
Yeah, going back together. I mean, and it's just, it's easy. You can travel 10 minutes down the road either way. And, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You should have that game.
I mean, I would definitely rather take a school bus from Oak Hill to Jackson than take a school bus from Oak Hill to Ironton.
Right? Exactly. Oh, the worst.
Oh my gosh. Every time I go down that road, I'm like, can you believe that we used to take a school bus here? Like we went to Minford
dangerous
like a few weeks ago, and Dad was telling us stories like, yeah, I remember coming up here like for a basketball game or whatever. He's like, right there's where the bus driver took a wrong turn and got lost. And then like a couple miles up the road, he's like, right there, that side road is where he came back out and got on the right road.
Can you imagine getting lost in a school bus on one of those windy, country roads? Yeah,
well, especially like doing it like in the 80s or the 90s.
Right, you didn't have GPS.
Yeah, you didn't have phones. You didn't have anything. I mean, they might have had radios, but
probably wasn't anyone on the other end.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody on the other end if it was like at night.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No.
Crazy stuff.
I would not want to be a bus driver.
No.
I mean, speaking of bus drivers, I mean, it's right. Yeah. So like that Wellston bus driver that hit that light post. I mean, so there's an article in today's Telegram
that's today's
right
Telegram.
here.
Pick that up.
That bus driver was cited for that. Bus driver in the Wellston School District was cited following a crash that occurred Wednesday. According to reports from the Wellston Police Department, officers were dispatched to the school located on Missouri Avenue. Blah, 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 blah. Laura Wall, age 63 of Wellston, struck a light pole. The bus was carrying a total of 25 students at the time of the crash, 3 of whom were transported to Holzer Medical Center in Jackson by Jackson County Emergency Medical Services with suspected minor injuries. The Wellston Police Department report does not list the cause of the crash and only states that the bus was traveling northbound when it went into the right-hand side of the roadway and struck a light pole. The 2020 model Thomas-built self-T-liner bus sustained disabling damage and was towed from the scene by Ron's Garage.
Man.
So, yeah, I don't want to be a bus driver.
No, I know how we used to act on the bus.
Oh, I know.
And you think about
it's horrible.
Like there is not a snowball's chance in Hades that I would ever be a bus driver. So God bless you.
Talk about a thankless job.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No way. And be responsible for
all those kids that
40
are like so
people's children.
The 40 rowdiest like 12-year-olds you've ever been around.
Thank you. Driving them for hours.
Yeah.
No way.
No, thank
you all are saints.
Yeah. But anyway, staying with Wellston and getting back to sports.
Yeah.
River Valley last night snapped Wellston's 5-game winning streak.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Wellston lost to River Valley 51-43. And so that full story will be in Saturday's paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can read all about it.
Yep. But that's just a couple sports stories that Todd sent me this morning. I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And it's when it comes to high school sports and things like that, you want to get that news out as soon as possible. Because I know people, especially with basketball, you have so
season,
many games.
There's so many games
all the time.
It's
keep it updated.
It is literally impossible to cover all those games.
Yep.
I mean, there are 4 schools that we cover.
Yes.
And they play like 4 basketball games a week.
It's a lot to cover. And
it's impossible.
All these places at one time.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough when there's 4 football games on the same day.
Right.
And now each school has 4 every week for basketball.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they do that, how they pick and choose.
That's not our department either, is it?
No. It's a good thing they don't trust us with any of the real decisions.
They just let us hang out in this room.
Yeah, they're like, here's a room, shut the door.
Yeah, just you two go elsewhere. Y'all are too mouthy and cause too much trouble.
Oh no.
Hey, let's talk about Christmas music for a minute.
Okay, let's do it.
And the fact that on the radio here at Total Media, both WKOV and 97.7 will be playing
all day Christmas music.
Yes, all day Christmas Eve, all day Christmas Day, all Christmas music all the time. And the cool thing is, if you don't have a radio, you can just download the Total Media Radio app to your phone. If you haven't done it yet, literally it takes about 3 seconds for it to download. And then you can just click on one of the radio stations. You can listen on your phone while, you're having Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve dinner, or you're wrapping presents or whatever.
Yep.
And then also you can listen on your computer, right?
Yep, and Alexa.
And your Alexa
you
device.
Just say, Alexa, open Mix 96 FM. Whose radio
Does
just started playing?
do it?
Speaking of that, we just got a comment talking about the basketball games on the radio.
Yes.
Rick Sim said, Pete amazed me last night at how well he's able to keep the stats and keep talking.
That is true, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yep. That's years of, we're not going to say Pete's old, so we're just going to say he's very experienced.
He is experienced.
Yes. Not old.
He is experienced. Yep. He's been doing it since he was in high school, he says.
Yep. Couple of games
ago.
under his belt. Yeah, a few years ago. That's right. Do we have any other comments? Anyone come up with any nicknames for us?
No, we don't have any nicknames. Let's hear this bad radio nicknames, guys.
Yeah, send us some bad nicknames. We may take you up on it. Yep. You never know. So, okay, I have some Christmas trivia for you.
Okay.
Are you all ready for this?
All right.
Let's see how good you are.
Yeah, leave your answers in the comments.
Yeah, let's see how good you all are. Let's see, I asked you a couple of them the other day. Let's see. Well, we were talking about Miracle on 34th Street the other day because they did a play in Chillicothe.
Right.
Very, very cool. Musical, all of that. What year did the original Miracle on 34th Street release?
1942.
42? You think it's 42?
Yeah.
You're close. 47.
47.
Yep. Very good. Good job. Getting the right decade. That's pretty good. Let's see. Some of them are kind of. Are you an old Christmas movie buff, like White Christmas?
Older than Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah, White Christmas.
I've seen White Christmas.
What character does Bing Crosby portray in White Christmas?
I have no idea what the character's names are.
I didn't know what his character's name was either.
Bing.
It's Bing.
Like, no one has ever called him by the character's name. It's like, oh, it's Bing Crosby.
Yeah. Captain Bob Wallace.
Captain Bob.
Captain Bob.
Why didn't they just call him Captain Bing?
I don't know. Bing. Captain Bing. Captain
Bing.
Bob.
Captain Bing and Captain Bob.
Here's one that you should know.
Okay.
All of you should know this because it's all over Christmas t-shirts as well.
All right.
What are the names of the neighbors in Christmas Vacation?
So, well,
Why is the floor all wet?
one of them's Margot. I can't remember the guy's name. Is it?
Why is the floor all wet, Margot?
I can't remember the guy's name.
I don't know. Todd.
Yeah. Margot, of course, played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus
Yes.
of Seinfeld.
Yes,
fame.
absolutely. And I did not know this. Their names are Todd and Margot Chester. I didn't know
Okay.
that Chester was their last name. I'm sure it's in
Probably
there somewhere.
never says it. It's probably written on the mailbox or something in the background.
Yeah. Maybe that's or on a piece of mail or something somewhere. Let's see.
I don't know, Margot.
Why
Their
is
stereo in that movie that gets destroyed by the ice or whatever is like the weirdest looking, like most 80s like thing ever.
But it was like so probably expensive.
Oh, I'm
back
sure it
then.
was, but
'Cause
like today it's just like, what is that?
their house was so bougie
Mhm. Yeah, but it was all,
for that time
yeah,
period.
right. But it all came from like Sharper Image or some store like that.
I don't know, Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's classic. Okay, let's see. What is the full name of George Bailey's guardian angel in It's a Wonderful Life?
Man, I feel like I used to know this.
Do you know the
All right.
first name?
No, I can't remember it. I feel like this is
The
something
angel?
that it's when I hear it, it's gonna ring a bell, but I can't remember it. All right,
Starts with a C.
Give me all right. Comment in here if you remember what the angel's name was.
Help James out.
Yeah,
Because I'm not going to tell him. I will say it starts with a C.
yeah. I when I hear it, I'm gonna remember it, but
You're gonna
it's
be
just,
kicking your
it's
own rear
not.
end.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna come to it. But yeah, the angel from what's the
It's
movie
a
called?
Wonderful
It's a
Life.
Wonderful Life. Yeah. So comment
Let us
the
know what
name
it
of
is.
the angel
Yep.
from It's a Wonderful Life.
Do you know this one in Frosty the Snowman? The name of the magician. I would have never known that.
No, I don't know. I don't know that one either.
It's like the clay
Yeah,
whatever.
No, yeah, I remember Clarence.
Yes, Clarence.
Yeah.
His name is Clarence Oddbody.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know the last name. I knew Clarence. In Frosty the Snowman, the name of the magician is Professor Hinkle.
Okay.
I did not know that. So, all right, last one. Oh, I have two more actually. What is what Cheers actor narrated several Disney Christmas classics, including Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas?
Well, I mean, I guess Kelsey Grammer is probably the obvious choice.
Good job.
Yeah.
It is. Yep. Kelsey Grammer. And what is the highest, not because I asked you what the best selling Christmas movie of all time was, which was The Grinch.
Okay.
But what is the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time?
I mean, I'm going to say The Grinch again.
It's not The Grinch.
Okay.
Something else.
Are we adjusting for inflation?
I mean, I don't know. It's not recent. Let's put it that way.
Highest grossing Christmas film. It's not recent, and the definition of recent could be very broad.
It's all relative.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll go Home Alone again.
Yep. Home Alone. So forced Jamie to watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2 last night. I thought he was going to strangle me, but he didn't. So I'm here today.
Very good.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't make it all the way Home Alone 2 because I fell
Yeah.
asleep. But,
Yeah.
you know, I can't stay up past, 9:30 or whatever it is. So I don't know. What Christmas movies do you all like out there?
I don't know, but I'm impressed that two people got Clarence Oddbody now. So
Oh,
shout out to everybody
good
that do that.
job. Yeah,
Very
heck yeah.
impressive.
That is impressive.
Very impressive.
You got it.
Favorite Christmas, man. I feel like I've mentioned this before, but it's the Muppets Christmas Carol.
I know you said that.
Have you seen
I
it
don't know
before?
that I've ever seen that.
So it's now I'm blank. It's Michael Caine is Scrooge,
okay.
and he just plays it like super straight, and like everything else is so wacky for the most part, and he plays it like totally straight, and it just makes it so funny, and like the music is super catchy, and yeah, I mean it's just the best.
Just cute. Now I feel
It's
like I
just
have
the
to
best.
watch it.
You should. I mean, if like Muppet singing is not your bag, you're not going to enjoy it.
How do you not
But-
like Muppets singing though? Like they're so adorable.
Yeah. I mean, I think so, but I
They're
guess
so
I can
cute.
see how some people could maybe find it a little irritating.
You got to be a little bit of a kid at heart to
Yeah.
to like it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it really is good though.
Yeah. I'll have to tune in and,
Yeah.
and see that. There's so many versions of A Christmas Carol that it's like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Yeah. So this was the first Muppets movie that came out after Jim Henson passed away.
Okay.
It's directed by his son, whose name is I forget his first name, but it's Jim Henson's son is directing it, and it's also the first Muppets movie that is directly adapted from source material. The previous ones were all totally original screenplays.
Gotcha.
So it's really interesting for that reason too, and it kind of spawned a series of like the Muppets movies that were based on like classic like literature and stuff like that, like the Treasure Island one, which I also think is really fun because that one's got Tim Curry
Yeah.
in it, and he's amazing, just like eating up the scenery. You know what I mean? But the Muppets Christmas Carol is really great.
We'll have to
It's
watch
very
it and
funny.
see. Yeah, absolutely.
Rick Sims says the 1951 Christmas Carol. I'm sure that is a perfectly fine version, Rick. Or I said Rick Sims. Or sorry, that was Rick Sims. Another Rick popped up right after him. But yeah, I'm sure that is a perfectly fine version of A Christmas
Yeah.
Carol, but
I'll
it
bet
does
that
not
one's-
have Muppets in it, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't have singing in it.
It's probably black and white too,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, it's black and white. I can't think. I feel like that was like the first Hollywood version of it. And I can't think who it was that played Scrooge, but that is a pretty famous,
Yeah.
well-known version of
Well,
it.
I think, when you go back and either you like classics or you
Mhm.
like remakes, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, some people are kind of turned off by things that like look old.
Yeah.
And anything
It's
that's in black and
depressing
white.
or yeah.
I mean, movies were just paced so slowly back then.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, the way that they like transition from scenes and stuff like that. Like it's just so clunky.
Well,
by, like,
you
modern,
didn't have all the bells and whistles
Right.
of computer generation
Well,
and all that stuff.
it's
But
not
that's
even-
what makes it more
right.
interesting too,
Yeah.
is that they had to work with what they it's like Western movies.
Yeah.
My gosh. I mean, they used to make Western movies in like 2 days. And they just
Yeah.
churned them out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I watched this like mini documentary last night. This is something I just stumbled across on YouTube, and it was so funny. And it was about movies that were produced by the WWE, like Vince McMahon and the wrestling people.
Oh my god.
And so, like, I mean, they just made this insane slew of like terrible direct-to-DVD movies
Was it,
for a long time.
What was that one that The Rock was in that
Well, The Rock's in a bunch of them. So The Rock, WWE co-produced 2 movies with The Rock, Walking Tall.
Walking Tall is what I'm
and-
thinking of. It
Oh,
was
shoot.
so bad.
I can't think what the other one was called, but like they made those movies for like $20 million or whatever, or maybe even less than that, which is not a lot for like a Hollywood movie.
Correct.
And they made crazy money, like at the
'Cause
box
The Rock's
office,
in it.
right? And so the WWE was like, "Well, we can do this with everybody," and they just started making like all these terrible movies of like every genre.
Oh
And
my
like they just all flopped. They just like
I
they were
could
just
see
like
that.
all flops. And then they found like, well, if we make these movies for like $5 million and put them in Walmart like on DVD for like $12, we can still make like $40 million on these terrible movies. So they just start like churning them like
Oh,
even more and
no.
more. And like they're a lot of them don't have like they don't even have like wrestlers in them. They don't have anything to do with wrestling. Like they made a movie with Willie Nelson. Like it's all this like really bizarre stuff.
That's so funny.
But they just like found this soup, and of course nobody buys DVDs anymore, so it kind of put a stop to it a little bit. But yeah, they're like, man, if we make these movies for like under $7 million and like get them in Walmart, like we can still make like $40 million, like no matter how bad it is.
Oh, that's so horrible. Well, I remember that Walking Tall when it first came
Yeah.
out, and I was like, oh, because it's The Rock, and
Mhm.
it was bad.
And
that was probably one of the best ones that they did.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those were, the Walking Tall, and there's one other one with The Rock that I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head. But yeah, but like those, they were like in theaters and like,
Yeah.
they were like real movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't do The Rundown, did they?
Yeah,
that
was the other one.
That
Yeah.
movie's actually really good.
Yeah, Walking Tall and The Rundown. Yeah.
The Rundown is hysterical.
Yeah, I know I saw those movies back in like 2004 or whatever, but I don't remember them.
The Rundown is good.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh so hard because it's just because The Rock is he's this big burly dude, but he's hilarious too on top of it. And then you've got what's that guy's name? Sean Michael Scott or whatever is the other dude.
That's the name.
And he is hilarious too.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Stifler in American Pie.
Oh yeah, he is funny.
He is. I mean, it's great. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, there you go. Give you something to do. Let's see. What else do we have?
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about cheap cars we were going to buy.
Oh yeah. I've got that. Okay. So if you all are looking to buy
buy a car,
brand new car,
but you insist on buying a brand new car, but you also insist on paying as little money as possible for it.
we got
Just not necessarily a wise decision to make. Because you could buy a car that's 3 years old.
correct with all the bells and whistles.
Spend the same amount of money, but it has all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, it actually has like glass windshields and stuff in it. Okay, so here are if you have to go out and buy a new car, but you are on a major budget,
right?
Here are the top 3 cheapest cars of 2022.
If you can actually find them anywhere.
If you can find them somewhere. That is correct. Number 1 on the list.
Or should we start at number 5 and go down?
Well, there's only 3.
Sorry.
It doesn't really, they're not
They're
really
all
ranked.
about the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 1, here's a trivia question for you.
Okay.
You already know the answer, but
I forget the answer.
What is the average transaction price
for a new car?
A new car.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. So comment what is the average price of a new car right now?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to go buy a new car and get an average new car, what would the price be?
Yeah. And also maybe comment what you paid for your first car.
Hey, there you go.
So we can compare.
That's interesting too. Yeah, for sure. So I have to say I've never had a new car. I don't think. No, I've never had a new car.
Me neither.
All right. So number 1, first on the list is the Nissan Versa.
Mm-hmm.
Its price increased only $100 from this year to next year, or to 2022.
Yeah.
The price that you can buy a Nissan Versa, which gets you 122 horsepower, 4-cylinder turbo, nothing engine, manual transmission, and it is roomy though. $16,055.
That's really cheap.
That's pretty cheap.
But I mean, even if you're buying a Nissan Versa, you're not buying that one.
I mean,
you're buying.
Where are you finding the base model of anything?
Right, you're buying the LT or whatever that's got air conditioning and an automatic transmission and
a radio, cruise control,
control. Yeah. So I mean, realistically, that's probably more like 25,000.
So that's what you're actually. I mean,
the model that people are actually going to buy.
Yeah. So good luck finding the $16,000 brand new Nissan Versa, but it does exist.
But also
out there.
Just buy a 2017 Nissan Versa.
With everything in it.
Yeah, it's going to be $9,000, and it's going to be nicer than that probably.
Exactly. Next on the list is the Mitsubishi Mirage. Now, you know what its claim to fame is?
Yeah. I'm getting off track here. What was that one car that was the most stolen car?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. It was something.
It was a Camry or something.
Yeah, it was a Toyota Camry.
Yeah, but it was a 1996 one or something. It was a specific year, and it was so old. And we're like, why would anyone steal that?
Yeah. So buy a 96 Camry instead of the.
No doubt. Yeah, get up on that insurance money. So the Mitsubishi Mirage, its claim to fame. For the $15,290 price tag, you get 41 miles to the gallon on the highway and, claim to fame, least powerful car on sale today.
So what's the towing capacity on that bad boy?
I can't tell you.
It gets 40 miles per gallon, but it can't go uphill.
It has, right. You have to like Fred Flintstone it to get it up the hill. It has
but like if you were like a little old lady that just drove around town,
yeah,
that's
like seriously, what
that's
else do you
perfect.
need?
Right.
Right. For $15,000 for a brand new car, I mean, with a great warranty and stuff on it, the Mirage is, are you ready for this? 76 horsepower, 3-cylinder engine. It's like this big of a car and it will go on flat surfaces.
Here, I'm derailing the conversation again. In Italy, you have to be like 16 or whatever to get your driver's license.
Yeah.
But if they make these like electric cars that are real tiny, and you can drive those without a license when you're like 13 or something like that.
Nuh-uh.
So in Italy, there are all these like, early teens driving these itty bitty little electric cars that can only go like 12 miles per
I mean, you can go to Walmart and buy the Hot Wheels John Deere tractor for
but they're,
same.
but like it's all you need because it's all these like super old narrow streets. So it's not like you can like,
Right, you're not taking off and driving fast anyway.
Right. But these cars are hilarious and you can legally drive it when you're like 13 or 14 years old.
It's like those smart car things.
Yeah, it's like that, but like fully electric and like even smaller.
That's crazy.
It's more like a golf cart.
Yeah.
It's like a golf cart that looks like a car.
Yeah.
Well, kind of looks like a car.
Sort of.
Looks more like a car than a golf cart.
All right. So, and then number 3 on the list is the Chevrolet Spark.
Yeah.
It is the smallest and cheapest car on the market in 2022. They continued the Fiat 500, so this kind of takes its place. It is now the smallest car in the U.S. and comes with the smallest price at $14,595. It's the only vehicle available for less than $15,000, but it does manage to stuff 4 doors and a 98 horsepower full 4-cylinder engine into its tiny package. Hey, it's better than the 76 horsepower 3-cylinder Mitsubishi. So,
well, I mean, you can knock those Sparks because they are funny looking little cars. But before the car I had before the one I have now was a Chevy Sonic, which is just like a step above that, really.
Yeah.
And I like that car quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the car I have now is a Chevy Cruze, which is really just kind of a step above that one. And I like it quite a bit too.
Yeah.
So I think, if the Spark fits what you're doing, I think you'll probably be happy with it.
Again, I mean, if you're driving back and forth to Columbus every day, probably not the safest vehicle and the best vehicle for you to be out driving on the highway all the time.
No, but if
in
you're
case
just
of an
commuting
accident. But yeah, I mean,
town,
if you're driving around here or whatever.
I bet the safety on those isn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right, but you get crunched by a semi on the highway in one of those. It's not.
Well, I mean, you're going to get crunched by a semi on the highway if you're in a Mercedes like S-Class or whatever too.
Well, I know, but if you're in a more substantial vehicle, I would feel like a little safer. So you've got the Nissan Versa, the Mitsubishi Mirage, and the Chevrolet Spark.
Yep. Hey, and here's the best thing about those cars. They're so small, you could actually put them under your Christmas tree.
And the good news is if it breaks down, you just pick it up and carry it.
You just put it in the back of like a regular size vehicle.
Put it in the trunk.
You put it in the trunk of like an 86 Buick or whatever. And drive it over to the service center.
Poor tow truck people, they just don't have a chance. The tow truck people send the pickup truck to go get it because you can just throw it in the back seat, or back bed. So I heard something today too, and I think this is such a good idea.
Okay.
And it's like, my God, it's so obvious. Why did I not think about this? So for several years when Jamie and I bought our land and we were clearing it, we bought, for Christmas, we did live Christmas trees. So balled and burlap.
Right.
And then so you use it and you had to be really careful with them. You have to keep them watered.
Yeah.
they're a little harder to maneuver around and stuff. But then we had our land, so we would just take them out and plant them.
Yeah.
And some lived, some didn't. You have to be careful with them. You have to kind of wean them back outside because you can't like shock them and throw them right back out in the cold and whatever. But our very first one was a white pine, and that thing is probably, I don't even know. It's so tall. I can't even explain how big it is now. But anyway, so there are Christmas tree farms now, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, that allow you to rent a live tree. So they're potted.
Yeah.
And so then you return it. And it's so you're not cutting down the Christmas trees. And, you know, God knows where they end up afterwards. They say that very few of them are recycled.
Right.
Or
they
used
just
for
dry
anything.
up and become a fire
people
hazard.
toss them along the road, or they get in a landfill or whatever. So there are Christmas tree farms now, and I don't know if there's one around here, but I think that's such a good idea that you can rent the tree. So you go and you pick out the tree you want. It's in a pot. You take it home. You keep it for like 3 weeks. Decorate it. Then you take it back to the farm, and they said that people are actually like developing relationships with these trees, and like they'll come back and get the same tree every year. And like,
really?
Yeah. And like people will name it, and they grow, of course. Like, you know, my name.
You've gotten so big, Jimmy the tree.
That's what they had people saying. Like literally, they're like, "Oh, look how much you've grown this year. I'm so proud of you," and like weird things like that. But I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, because you can go back and see how it's developed over the year, and then get the same tree. And you know, eventually, they say that the life of them in the pots is about 10 years or something like that. You know, some longer, some not.
Well,
some outgrow
the longer the ones that. So when me and my sister were little, my parents did what you said 3 times that I know of. They took the tree and then planted it in the yard. Yeah, and 10 years is about how long they lived. So
there you go.
Maybe that's the lifespan, regardless.
I think it's really such a good idea, and what a fun, you know, just family thing to go out and find your tree again. And,
I really like the idea of going out like on a tree farm and cutting down your Christmas tree and that kind of thing. But man, it sounds like a pain in the butt at the same time.
Well, I know we have several
home and everything.
Well, yeah, but if they're in a pot, then you're not killing it, so that's good. But no, we do have some Christmas tree farms around here. I know the one we went a couple years and did that, and so you go and you pick it out, and they. You call them and tell them where you're at, and then they come with a 4-wheeler and they'll bring it back for you, so you don't have to like toss it a mile over hill and dale. And then they have like a wrapper that will wrap it up in netting and stuff like that.
Little full, lots of sap.
A lot of sap. Little full, a lot of sap. And they have like a shaker too. So you
get the squirrels out.
Yeah, get the squirrels out. So Clark Griswold. Man, whoo.
What just happened?
I was just sleeping.
I was just sleeping in that tree. And some dude started shaking it.
It's not cool.
I'm a squirrel and I sound like Cheech and Chong.
I know, right? It's just a little woozy. That was like that poor owl that got stuck in the Rockefeller tree last year. That was so sweet. It was the cutest little thing. Yeah. It had to be so confused.
I would have been.
Like, where am I? I was just sleeping in this tree, man. Oh, well. But yeah. So I don't know how we got from cars to
I know. Somehow
trees.
Somehow we've been talking for an hour. Haven't said anything.
Did we have the weather?
No. You want to talk about weather?
Is that it?
That's the weather.
Oh, you did? We do have the weather.
I thought you meant had we talked about it yet.
Oh, no. Do we have the weather?
Yeah, we've got the weather.
You're so on top of things, James. Thank you. Today is going to be quite cool as compared to what we've had in the past several days. Partly cloudy skies, highs of 37, lows of 21. But then looking on to tomorrow on Thursday, where everyone is going to be in panic mode, running around. Partly cloudy skies there too. Highs of 47, lows of 38. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, look at that. Highs of 55, highs of 63 on Christmas Day. Certainly not conducive to a white Christmas, but we're going to have a wet Christmas instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope you weren't planning on doing stuff outside. Probably weren't.
So, and maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know.
It could change between now and then. So,
Well, tomorrow I'm hoping that we can maybe going to have a musical guest on the show. I'm still trying to work it out, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow.
okay.
But yeah, so I'm hoping we can get this person to come in. She's crazy talented.
Yes.
And she's working on an interesting Christmas related fundraiser right now with the Marquee. So hopefully we can talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
And so just tease that a little bit.
Okay.
Have something more substantial to talk about than what we did today.
In Christmas movies, The Golden Girls and
The Golden Palace.
The Golden Palace.
Yep.
Now I have to find it.
Yep.
I wonder how you go about finding something like that.
Google
it.
Yeah.
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Okay, feel good story to end the program. How's that? Because sometimes we get, negative. We don't want to do that. So, actually, I have 2 feel good stories.
Okay.
So there are 2 Ohio siblings.
Here we go. Here's an
did you
article.
find
The
it?
Golden Palace comes to Hulu on January 10th. Happy New Year.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now you
Entertainment
know.
Weekly. Oh, man. We were just talking about Cheech and Chong. Here's Cheech and Chong guest starring on The Golden Palace.
No, they are not.
Yeah. I love the picture went away and turned into an ad. I can't show you.
Oh.
I'm just dropping everything.
Well, if you
There
want
it is.
to. Oh, for the love of Pete.
It's not Pete.
That's
Cheech Marin.
Cheech. And if you want to see Tommy Chong, he's on that 70s show.
Yeah.
All the time. No, feel good story of the day. 2 Ohio siblings have donated now. Are you ready for this? Let's go back. They started several years ago in 2015, and they were in high school. And they are members of an online, like a virtual school that's a statewide Ohio virtual school. And they started with a mission. They wanted to help children who are in the hospital on Christmas.
Okay.
And so, of course, and I don't know if you all know this, but Nationwide Children's Hospital is the largest pediatric hospital in the country.
Okay.
So they wanted to help the kids that were in the hospital during Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So they started in 2015, and that year, so the cool thing is they're in an all Ohio school, so they had kids from all over the state were able to reach out to their communities and stuff like this and help. And then they went out and they started setting boxes in different places and whatever. So 6 years ago, they began, and I'm trying to think I see what their names are. Why do I not know what their names are? Tyler Slavin. Oh, Tyler and Monica Slavin.
Okay.
So they started out several years ago, and the first year, what did I tell you that they did? 800 toys.
800 toys. That's a lot of toys.
A ton. That was in 2015. They collected 800 toys and donated them to Children's Hospital.
Okay.
1 year later, in 16, they doubled it. They got 1,700 toys.
It's a lot of toys.
That's a ton of toys. In 2017, they got 3,000 toys and donated it to Children's Hospital.
Very good.
So again, you're just like,
keep going up.
this thing's
Yeah,
blowing
just
up.
blowing up. Yeah.
Proud of them. Are you ready? 2018, they broke the hospital's record for the single largest donation with 9,200 toys. That was in 18.
It's a lot of toys.
It is. 2019, blew it up. 20,300
It's
toys.
insane. What do you
20,300
how do you even go
toys.
about distributing that?
I don't know. They say every year the toys are packed in a U-Haul vehicle and various cars and taken
I was gonna
directly
say,
to the
you can't-
kids.
That's like a fleet of U-Hauls.
Yep. They said, once you get on the hospital property, this is a quote from them, it's just phenomenal. They're so friendly and welcoming and spirited. It's a true joy to be around. they say not only do these toys bring holiday cheer to the children and their families, but they also take their focus off of being in the hospital.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a kid in the hospital at Christmas time? But I mean, if nothing else,
Yeah.
just having someone show up with
Yeah.
toys for you.
I mean, that'd be really hard.
These
regardless.
kids are amazing.
Yeah. That's really awesome. And that's so much. I mean, it's so much.
20,300.
Like, how do they
19.
even, like, how are they even, like, equipped to be able to, like, deal with that when that much stuff comes in?
I don't know. They're high school kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, well, they're probably not now, but they're a
Right.
bit older now. But
I mean, they're still kids.
They're still young.
Yeah, they're still young. Yeah.
and that is just an amazing feat. And, you know, kids get a bad rap, and it's like, you know, these are good kids doing good things. So good for them. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's funny how things like that take off.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know. You create a monster with
It's
it.
true.
So anyway. All right. Well, we have talked for an hour about,
Not much.
we don't know,
But
but we
thank you.
talked for an hour.
We appreciate
Yeah.
those of you who are listening to us
That's
talk
right.
about Not Much for an hour.
That's right. So thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you. And hopefully our musical
Yeah.
guest will be here tomorrow
Hopefully.
because that's going to be,
Yeah.
if we can swing it, she'll be great.
And then another thing I don't think we've mentioned on air yet. We will be off the air on Friday,
Yes.
and then we are taking the week off the week after Christmas.
Yes. So you and I we're going to
Outta
disappear
here.
and they won't
Yeah.
notice.
So what we're going to do next week is I've put together a compilation of our best episodes from the past year.
That's
So
so
we're going to
good.
go back in
Thank
time
you.
and watch the best of Main Street TV
Oh.
the week in between Christmas and New Year's.
That will be so fun.
Yeah.
Kind
So,
of
yeah.
so kind of reruns, if you will.
Yeah.
See
Yep.
if we can go into syndication.
See if we can get, man, dude, if we could do that, we could take like 6 months off
Then
the
we-
year. We could do like half the year.
6
and
months
then-
live, 6 months.
That's the way to do it.
Somehow I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. Like Jimmy Kimmel and those guys, they take an off season, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a clip on YouTube yesterday. Jimmy Kimmel and this YouTuber guy built the world's largest t-shirt cannon. It's like looks like a Civil War cannon, and they took it to I think it was MetLife Stadium, one of the like really really big stadiums, and they shot like a t-shirt like the length of the field out of the
I was gonna say,
stadium.
did they blow it like through the roof and out of the stadium?
Yeah.
It,
went
just
like,
went through.
yeah, it went over the roof. And he's like, the guy's like, man, we could have like shot it all the way into the parking lot if the legal team would have let us do it, but they wouldn't let us.
They have no sense of humor.
Yeah, they had it on like 1/3 power or whatever, and it went out of the stadium.
It's all well and good till someone loses an eye from a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah, so look that up. It was really funny.
Nice.
But yeah,
Alright.
best of Main Street TV the
Yeah.
week after that is our Christmas gift to you.
There you go. We're not here. Merry Christmas. We're going to leave you for a
Yeah.
week.
Yep.
So, no, it just so happened that you and I both had something planned and we were like, oops. That's how
I
it
think this will be a tradition.
No, I think
New
you're
tradition.
right. For sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun today. We hope that you've laughed along with us, not at us, or either
Well,
way.
I'll take it either way. As
Either
long
way,
as you're
as long
watching.
as you're laughing. So have a great day, and we'll be back here tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.